Here we go again, guys, with very smiley Fernando Raul Alvarez from Puerto Rico. Hi, dear.
Saludos, Silvia. Gracias. Bueno verte.
Para mí también.
Muy bien. Excellent. Yeah, that's very nice.
Sí. Spanish and Italian aside, guys, today we are going to talk about the devil and the lovers in the major arcana system as seen through the cards of truth system. But before that, I want to be a good host, a good enough. And I want
you're going to send me money? What are you going to do?
Probably. Guys,
you're gonna invite me to Italy? Are you gonna fly me over? What are you gonna do now?
You're always welcome. I'm gonna fly you over.
Yeah, that's what I mean by inviting.
After you take me to Puerto Rico, obviously.
Yeah. But that comes after you invite me to Italy. Yeah.
Sure. Guys, I wanted to be professional and praise the qualities of Fernando that we are learning to know in his abilities and his knowledge that is so vast. And I wanted to say that you are a card reader with the cards of truth system, though you also know tarot, but you use the cards of truth. And that you are an amazing astrologer with the Vedic system.
Thank you.
Tropical calculations, right? Am I correct?
Tropical Rashi Sidereal Nakshatras, yes.
Excellent. So if you guys want a reading from Fernando, he's booking readings, and you find these details in the comment section. And so feel free to get in contact with him if the vibe is right for you guys. And I also do offer readings for the cards of truth system. So same here for me.
And at the same time, I want to give it back because Silvia is also a very good card reader. And she also delves into astrology. And I just want to say that the deck of cards that I use 3 times a week here in Puerto Rico, where I do horary and cards, is Silvia's card deck of cards. And it's a very nice deck. If you want to get it, I recommend it highly. It's from her Etsy. You can look it up at silviamoriarts in Etsy.com. And it's a great gift. And it's also a great deck of cards that you can use. It's the one I use. They're all dirty because I use them a lot, but I still love them. So I just want to say that because I'm very thankful that she gave them to me as a gift. So I just want to say that, and thank you, Silvia.
Thank you for the shout out. It's very nice. Thanks. All right then.
And it's very interesting. It's very interesting that we're doing all this on this video of the devil and the lovers, which represent the number 6, which represent Venus. And you know, all this recognition and these pleasantries are all part of the significance that we're gonna start discussing now here.
That's a good hint, very good one, Fernando. Yes, because recognition comes from, it's a Venusian thing.
Yeah.
We don't really need somebody else to tell us that what you've done is good or that you are good. We don't really need it, but it comes with a sweet feeling for us humans. And we normally very much aim for that, and we long for that feeling. And we're gonna learn throughout the numbers how this is only, it is not the peak of existence. It's just one step towards the maximum expression of the human experience. Okay, this is something that I like to remember to my clients. You know, we all aim for the earthly things and pleasures, so Venusian things that we are going to discuss today. But life has in store for us more than that.
Yeah, because they don't last.
No, life is gonna push us through that narrow path, very difficult sometimes, of this number 7 that we're gonna see in the next video. So guys, check it out if you haven't yet. With the Death and Tower. Okay, but back to today.
Yes.
Today is all about the devil and the lovers. As said, it's these 2 cards come as number 6, linked to the planet Venus. Okay, wherefore the devil, we look at the red 6s. So Six of Diamonds and Six of Hearts. And for the lovers, we look at the number 6 is the black one, so the clubs and spades.
Correct.
Okay. We can make I make a broad distinctions between the two, and then I leave it to you, Fernando, if it's okay.
Sure, go for it.
We can say with one, we reject what is not good for us. With the other one, we go for what we want. So we see the feminine side and the masculine side. So passive and active. And now it's all yours. What?
Yeah, sure, sure. So as you said, you know, the lovers and the devil relate to the number 6. And what is number 6? Number 6 is basically fulfillment. It is basically victory. It is the satisfaction that we get through achieving the things that we know we need to quench our thirst, to quench our hunger, to quench our necessity. And these qualities are related to the planet Venus, which in Yotish is called Shukra Deva. And it's basically Venus, and Venus represents luxury, relaxation, pleasures, arts. To a certain degree, it also represents business abilities, or at least diplomatic abilities that come into play in interpersonal relationships of a higher quality, of a more refined quality. It also has to do with art, of enjoying arts, of recognizing what good art is, what bad art is, of criticizing constructively or criticizing for a good purpose. So we have all this energy here in the 6. And the 6 is also called the little victory. And we see this little victory seen through these 2 major arcana of the lovers and the devil, right? And one might think that the lovers should be more of a feminine energy, and the devil might be more of a masculine energy, but we're going to see that that's not necessarily true. And let's start with the lovers. You know, the lovers is a masculine card, so the masculine principle will say that things are going outside of one, right? Of exterior. And with the lovers, what we do is that we aspire to do, and we actually fulfill what we want and love, which is outside of us, right? We achieve that little victory by conquering and fulfilling the things that we know we need, that we know we like, that we know we love, which are outside of us. For example, a woman, if you're a man and you love her, or a man, if you're a woman and you love him. Or not only that, just take into consideration all the principles from the Kama Trikona in the 7th house, right? Kama being pleasure, Trikona being triangle, anchored in the Kendra house of the 7th, which is the interpersonal relationships, professional relationships, friendships, and obviously love relationships, romantic relationships of a sexual nature. And we go outside of ourselves to fulfill that, to conquer that, to achieve that little victory. And at the same time, it basically, the lovers means the victory that we achieve through fulfilling what is exterior of us, what we don't have inside us. That would be more of a feminine principle.
Can we use the metaphor of the archetypical and that is in our culture throughout the world of the man going chasing the female?
To a certain degree, yes, yes.
If we want to understand and grasp the meaning behind, then when we grasp this, we can apply this modus to the circumstances. So it's not just the man that goes. It's just to make you understand. The woman has to accept something that is good for her.
Exactly.
Good men.
Yeah.
And or at least, because now, you know, things are a little bit reversed and it's okay. Everybody does whatever it makes it okay for them. The thing is with Venus, we understand what fulfill us. Because I can chase a man, but does it really fulfill my inner and most
feminine nature?
Of my feminine nature, exactly.
Yep.
Would it fulfill it as much as being chased by a good man?
Yeah.
No.
That depends on your nature. If you're a very masculine woman, then it might appeal to you, but you have to go for a very feminine man in order for it to work. But the natural thing would be
we
the man.
talk about the averages. Then,
yeah.
Then by average, it works like that. This is a psychometric reality. Is not bigotry or anything. It's like it's in the science if we want.
Definitely.
And experience, but
yeah, and another thing is that, you know, sometimes you see the lover's card as something bubbly and emotional and happy and the honeymoon, but in essence, you know, having a marriage is difficult. It is a sacrifice. It is hard work, especially for all of you who have had relationships to a certain degree of a serious nature. And that in essence groups together all these qualities that the male cards have in the swords, the spades, I'm sorry, and the clubs. And then we have the devil card.
Yeah.
The famous devil, that il diavolo.
Diavolo.
Il diavoleto.
El diablo.
El diablo, exactamente. O sea, then we have the devil, which is very famous, or notorious, better said. And it represents the more feminine idea of this fulfillment, of this victory, of this enjoyment and satisfaction that we get here in the sixth with Venus. And if the lovers are going after the things we love, which are exterior to us, that we need to fulfill our necessities, the devil is quite the opposite, because in the devil, what we do is that we avoid what is harmful by listening to our inner female nature. It is basically the victory that we achieve through restriction that comes from within, knowing that, for example, too much food will make me fat, too much sweets will make me diabetic, too many sexual partners bring problems of different natures, of social nature, of cultural nature, of
energetic nature.
Yeah, and if you're a woman, it brings even more problems because women get pregnant. So, you know, and at the same time, you start seeing what this devil really means. And if you see the Rider-Waite depictions of the devil, which are the most famous depiction of the 20th century, you see the devil and you see a man and a woman naked with a chain over their necks, but the chain is not tight. Meaning that these are just vices, that these are just
something that you can escape from.
Exactly, that you can easily escape from by taking off the chain and assuming this Venusian female energy of restricting yourself, of listening to your inner voice and knowing what you should.
Honoring it.
Yes.
Because what you do when you don't, when you give in your compulsions, is that you don't honor your inner word.
Yeah.
So you don't have respect, and you don't give dignity to your inner voice, to your female side of the. This hits home, I think, with many of us.
And not only that's what happens when your Venus is in a bad dignity in a chart. You will have very hard times taking the good decisions in life.
Mine is with Sun, so it's together.
my Venus is with Sun also.
Mine is retrograde though, so it's a bit halfway.
Okay. But I
understand completely. You just, it's like your own best interest is not a priority. So if something that gives pleasure but doesn't give and doesn't honor you and what you need and what you are, is going to be accepted. Why? Because there is not embedded in the mind, and something more profound probably, the self-care, the self-preservation. Because it's rather simple. Too much food gives me in trouble with my body, therefore with my emotions and mind. As a consequence, do I need that? The answer is no. Everybody knows, but why do we give in? It's because our awareness is eaten up alive by the compulsion, which is absence of awareness in that.
Yes.
Moment. Okay. It's not my philosophy. It's not that I'm that brilliant, but I've heard this from Sadhguru, which I follow and have a lot of esteem for. But I like to share it because every time I share it with others, I'd say it to myself because I need it also. So let's try to honor that inner voice. First of all, I have respect for it and thank the fact that we do have a connection with the inner voice. And then maybe just let's follow what it says. It's not a privation of something. You don't get deprived of something that is amazing. It's not a punishment. It's actually, you're going to be deprived of the side effects of what it feels good. This is the right side up devil card, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah. And at the same time, we have to see these cards as paths, right? The lovers will lead you to an outer path that will make you triumph over the things that you want and love, while the devil card will be an inner path that might take you places that you don't want to go, and that's why you have to have restrictions. You know, what is the devil in this card? Well, the devil are vices. The devil are addictions. The devil are destructive behaviors that will destroy you sooner or later, which are mostly entailed in the sins of the global religions, of the world religions that we know of, Hinduism, Christianity, and so on and so forth.
But Fernando, don't you find that being restricted from something that is not good for us is a blessing?
To a certain degree, but today...
Maybe in the perception doesn't feel that way, but in reality, like, you know, when you count the money that you have in your pocket and you cannot fake it and you count them, if it's $10 and you say it's 80, it's not going to buy you anything. And if it's like this to me, this devil card when it's reversed, it's like you want to tell yourself it's $80, but it's 10. And if you go to a shop, they're not gonna give you the goods that you wanted for $80.
Because that reverse devil is basically the absence of the arcana that came before it, which is the 5, which is justice. So the person is not falling in line with the divine plan. It's not falling in line with the divine, the divine path that he's onto, and he's creating his own path from illusion. And that brings him to the devil card to a certain degree. But what I wanted to say is that, as you mentioned briefly before, things are more or less upside down today. And, you know, the devil is sometimes not seen from a traditional perspective. And many times, you know, people go down paths of addiction, of destructive behaviors, of illusions, believing they're paths of vanguardism, of avant-garde things and so on and so forth, when they're really not necessarily so.
It's actually, if you have a look around, it's actually everything is okay. It doesn't matter if it's good for you or not. You go down that path of compulsion and
relativism, absolute relativism.
Yeah, what is lost is a bit of the Pope, basically, because the Pope give us the fundament. If you want to build a house, you need to set the foundations, and foundations around the world are going to more or less look the same for any building, more or less. You know, you don't need to make them creative. You need to be solid and reliable. And that's what you need to follow for the basics.
Very nice analogy. Perfect.
And here, if we see, the devil tells you what's the basic for you. It's a no, easy. Put down that pizza. It's a no for you. Why? Because you are destined for something greater than the little pleasure that you think is so big and so the maximum expectation for you in this life. Right? So
definitely. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna.
And also the absence of the high priestess, because it's very funny because you say the absence of the Pope, and that's basically the absence of Christianity in your European context, which has led to a great degree to the liberalization and the secularism of modern democracies. And the high priestess is the absence of the magical, of the spiritual, and the oversaturation of the material.
It's the
which
voice
at the
in your
same
ear
time, yeah, which
that
at the
tells you it's not good for you, and you already know it.
yeah,
Then
which
you
at the same time goes on with the chronology of the 2, 4, and 6s, which the 4 would be the ones that come before the 6, as you were telling me before in the other video. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we did it, right?
I hope it's clear for our friends, and if there's some questions, that you can always reach out in the comments section, so that we can maybe explain in more depth. Or
with these cards, you got to realize what is it that you enjoy, and what is it that you have to restrict yourself from.
Is the sane and healthy enjoyment.
Exactly.
Otherwise, these cards are upside down.
Yeah.
Like this.
Yes.
So
healthy things like making YouTube videos.
Absolutely amazing. Now we're gonna be projected onto the next video, where we're gonna deal with 2 amazing cards.
See you next week. Change clothes.
Soon. Subito.
Subito.
Ciao amici.